Hello, hello, and welcome to the pre-show of the Gooply Cast. No one's here.
Yet. No one's here yet.
Exactly.
Tim, text your wife and tell her we're live.
I think she got the notification.
Uh,
Doesn't Facebook notify?
It does. Facebook and YouTube both notify. I need to retweet this.
Are we not on Twitter?
It says the broadcast. There we go. I was about to say it said the broadcast had ended. It looks like we're good.
It's not showing up on the.
oh no, Twitter.com.
We're live on Gooply. Gooply just told me that we're live, or not Gooply. Twitch. Twitch just told me that we're live.
It's really slow right now. Trying to push it out.
It's everybody trying to get on to watch us that's causing this all to go slow.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah. Sure.
Just jamming things up. Jamming the interwebs up. So who invested in GameStop?
I have a friend that bought GameStop stock at the beginning of last year, like before COVID hit, when it was still like $5 something a share. And he was telling me he's made like $4K off of GameStop stocks. I mean, it fell pretty hard today, all things considered. So I'm not sure if he was still holding it or if he sold it or whatnot, because I haven't talked to him yet. But like, drop a couple hundred on GameStop, back when it was $5 pop, and then see it up to like $293 something. It's a pretty decent gain.
Yeah, I saw it get up to like $400. People are making some serious money. I listened to some podcasts and some news articles where some guy made like close to $1 million or something like that, if not more, and a couple people in the hundreds of thousands. So
there was this kid that for Christmas, I think it was in 2019, his mom bought him $100 worth of GameStop shares, and he cashed it out a couple days ago. I think he got $3,000. I think it was around there, but it was 10 years old.
Oh, I read about that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I kind of peeked into the Wall Street Bets subreddit, which is where this all began. And like people were showing screenshots of like their Robinhood account, and there was some guy that invested like $32,000 in GameStop stock.
Holy
like
crap.
I'm just looking at that and thinking how much money. Like there are people who have their stock was worth. There was one guy that shared a screenshot, was worth like $700 and some odd $1,000.
Jeez, I would sell immediately.
Kudos to them.
I mean, yeah.
Have you guys heard of Robinhood?
Yeah.
So Robinhood is apparently facing a lawsuit over freezing GameStop stock.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
The amount that you can buy.
So just to back up, give a little background on this. For anybody that doesn't understand what's going on, there was a group of Redditors that banded together when they found out that there was a hedge fund that was trying to short sell GameStop stock. And what that really means is this hedge fund borrowed a bunch of stocks for GameStop stocks, and they sold it for what it was, hoping the stock would drop and they would buy the stocks back at a lesser value and then give them back to the people they borrowed. They would basically earn the difference. They would make out. And a bunch of Redditors banded together, and they bought a bunch of GameStop stock, which made the price go up. It inflated the price to the tune of $200-$300, up to $400 where it was at. And when the hedge fund has to cover the stocks that they sold out at $5 a share, whatever it was, they now have to buy back those shares at $200-$300 a share, which means they lose a bunch of money. And that's really, they were squeezing the hedge fund is what they were doing, basically trying to bankrupt this hedge fund. I know one of the hedge funds ended up losing billions of dollars over it. I know they had to cover their shares. I want to say like Friday was the deadline when they were supposed to cover their shares. I don't know the entire intricacies of it beyond that, but the reason Robinhood is in trouble is because last week it was Thursday or Friday, and Ichiban Death can probably he's in there in the chat. He can probably tell you for sure what day it was, because I know he follows Robinhood a little bit more than I do. They basically barred people from buying GameStop stock. They only were letting you close out your position so you can only sell it, and they were probably pressured by the SEC and whatnot, but there's a lot of people that got, upset because they couldn't buy GameStop stock. And more or less, Robinhood has a lot of money that comes in from these hedge fund groups. So a lot of people are blaming them for, basically catering to the hedge funds and stopping the trading from, a free market, quote unquote, to protect the hedge funds. And I know Webull had suspended sales for a little while too. I want to say like Fidelity Investment was the only one that didn't suspend the sales. And even now, if you go on Robinhood and you try to purchase GameStop stock, they will only allow you to buy a full stock. They won't let you buy a fractional stock. So if you go on Robinhood and say you want to buy a Tesla stock, one Tesla stock is like $800 some odd dollars. You could sit there and put $5 into Tesla right now if you wanted to, and you'll own $5 worth of Tesla stock. And that's called a fractional share. Robinhood is not letting you buy fractional shares of AMC, GameStop, and a couple other ones that are kind of being influenced by the Wall Street Bets subreddit that they're trying to, form up and show these hedge fund people who's boss.
And do you guys think that since Robinhood is getting sued for basically like throttling the purchase of stock, GameStop and all of these other shorted stocks in particular, do you think it's fair that people feel that way? Do you think it was fair that Robinhood decided to make that choice?
I don't think it was fair.
I think there's a couple different ways of looking at it. I agree that it's sketchy. Each Mondes said that it's still sketchy, but they offer their explanations of why they did things. If we had to be completely honest, what's going on with like GameStop stock and AMC, it is heavily influencing the stock market as a whole. I mean, if you look at a lot of stocks that over the last week, you'll see that they've become super volatile in price, and obviously it'll stabilize over time. I'm not worried about that. In the short run, it's making it a little bit more volatile, and it's affecting the stock market. So, I mean, while these people are teaching a hedge fund a lesson, and I'm not saying the hedge fund shouldn't be taught a lesson because they're getting pissed off for people treating the market like a casino like they do every single day, they are kind of putting, the economy as far as stocks go into fluctuation, which is not super good for the economy always. I mean, like I said, everything's going to even out. I'm not super worried about it. So I definitely see both sides of the point. I don't think I don't think it's Robinhood's place to step in. I mean, if the stock market, or if the stocks are still freely traded on the stock market floor, and the stock exchange itself has not put a halt to trading, I don't think there's any reason that a certain brokerage firm should be stopping the trading. I don't think it's up to them. I think it's up to the people who are buying and selling the stock, if that makes sense.
Ichiban Death said it gets messy. They got a call to put up $3 billion worth of capital after negotiating, including the limits on some stocks and more, and they talked that number down. Was that Robinhood that got asked to basically kind of cover partially what was going on with the like GameStop and the short stock stuff, or was that some other organization that got asked for the $3 billion of capital? Because if people were pressuring, or if the stock market, the Wall Street was pressuring Robinhood into kind of answering financially for what's going on in their app, I could see Robinhood wanting to at least gesture in the direction of being favorable to Wall Street.
I mean, you're not incorrect. Robinhood doesn't collect commissions from the individual users as far as a basic user. I mean, there are subscriptions that you can do with Robinhood. They get money from other sources, and let's face it, the person who gives us our paycheck are the ones that we're going to be more beholden to. So I definitely see where that's coming from. The question is if you're going to be a place that buys and sells stocks on behalf of your user base, if you're going to participate in a free market, are you going to let it be a free market, or are you going to not let it be a free market?
This sounds a lot like the Apple versus Epic debate, where Apple has control of whatever ecosystem or platform that they're offering to their users, and Robinhood seemingly isn't doing anything illegal by shutting down or preventing their users from accessing their app or the terms of their service. But I don't know. I don't know what their terms of service are, so I'd be curious to hear what the argument is against Robinhood.
And I don't think it was just Robinhood that was stopping it. I think Ameritrade also did the same thing. I don't remember if there's any other.
No, there were quite a few of the brokerages that did it. Like I said, Webull did it. They're another popular app like Robinhood is. Let's see. Ichiban says, but still they have to play by the rules of the people buying stocks on behalf of Robinhood. That is true. There's a lot of things that I don't understand about the stock market. So, I only have my very rudimentary understanding of the stock market and my own personal beliefs of how a stock market and free market should operate, and whether or not I think Robinhood should have stepped in. I don't know, what their terms of service are. I don't know what the legalities of it are. I would like to think that Robinhood probably had some sort of legal team in on the decision to halt the trading of certain stocks, and were fairly confident of their legal bets to stop it if there was any question of it.
Sure.
They're a big enough platform that I would think that there had to be some sort of oversight by some legal team on their behalf. I would like to think that, but then again, you think that Epic had some sort of oversight by their legal team to stop their CEO from sending emails at 2 o'clock in the morning.
He was sending them at 2 o'clock in the morning. He was like, he probably texted his legal team and said, "I'm sending this email right now," and then they were probably sleeping and they probably sent it. So
I bet he was super high when he did that. I'm just throwing that out there.
Well, so it's interesting. We can kind of transition to that because I did want to mention that a judge ruled this week that Tim Cook has to sit for a 7-hour deposition for the lawsuit. So
For the Epic Apple lawsuit?
yeah,
Really?
so
Wow.
he has to sit down with their attorneys and answer questions. I think 7 hours.
Jeez.
I will watch a considerable part of that because I want to see how he answers questions.
Well, I don't know that it's going to be public.
No, that's probably right.
It's not one of those Congress
Not a
hearings where
congressional
we're going to get
hearing.
to go. Yeah, it's going to be all private. So, but I did want to mention that because I read about that earlier. And then we were also filming over the weekend, and I don't remember who said it, but somebody said it, that we should do our podcast from the last Blockbuster.
Oh, yeah.
I know that we all kind of talked about it, but I think Tim was the one that said that actually.
I'm
So
responsible
here it
for that
is.
terrible idea.
So look at this.
No, not terrible.
Look at this. And look at the price. $4 a night. Like, I freaked out when I saw this.
What kind
on
of...
Airbnb?
What?
$4 a night for the last Blockbuster. And I was like, oh, jackpot. I'm going to do it. I'm
Nice.
going to go down there and do it. There's no dates available.
Oh, my gosh.
Is that why there's only 3 ratings on it?
Yeah, I think it was just like a one.
Okay, so we bide our time. We bide our time. Okay, and we make it a team building weekend, and we film a podcast live at the last Blockbuster.
Yeah, we film
look
a
at
live
that.
podcast outside the last Blockbuster. That sounds great.
I'm
So
sure if
what
we
I'm
get a
meaning-
hold of them and let them know that we want to film a podcast in their Airbnb, that they will make some time for us. I totally called the bed though, because I saw the page where it said there's only one bed, so dibsies.
This is in Oregon?
Hey,
So this is in Oregon?
this is in Bend, Oregon. Yeah.
Okay, so not too far for Tim Cook to make the drive.
Oh, good.
So he can...
Oh, you guys want me to get on the horn with Tim Cook and ask him to come over? We'll have him on the
We're on the horn
podcast.
with Tim Cook. Yeah.
You know,
I'll,
what I immediately
that.
thought when I saw that was, okay, so it's only $4 a night, but you have to like pay for everything in there. All those snacks that you see, you have to pay for.
Hey, I
All the
pay for
movies you
it.
have to rent. What?
I pay for it.
Yeah,
That would
sure.
be
Yeah,
lower.
sure.
Do you still have a Blockbuster card to check out those movies?
Oh,
I don't. They probably give you one though. I'm assuming you can sign up for one there. I don't know. I
I'm not
honestly
paying
think
any
we
behind the
should do it. We should drive down and we could set up a podcast right out in front of the
We can
Blockbuster.
each man Death says he lives near there. We can invite him over and he could be on the podcast and we can talk stocks and privacy because I know he's all about stuff like that.
You could be in the crowd.
Hell yeah.
The one
I'm
person.
down. I'm down. And there's Tim, I know you said that you drove to California for In-N-Out, right?
Yeah.
There's an In-N-Out in Bend, Oregon, I think.
There were a bunch of them popped up after we did that drive. It was so stupid.
Made the drive all the way there, and then like a month later, there were
I
ones
think
closer.
I think the person I did the drive with is watching right now. It was a stupid drive. You're watching.
I'm pretty sure after you did that drive, I got inspired because my roommates at the time, like 2 or 3 years ago, my roommates at the time, we all drove down to the In-N-Out Burger in Oregon, like at the tip of Oregon, and that was like an 8-hour drive. I can't imagine what your drive was like.
It was a long drive.
I made the
Totally.
drive from Reno back to here in one day. That was a long drive.
Gosh, it'd be so hot for so long too. Oh,
I mean, cars have AC.
exactly.
Actually, I made this trip in was it early April, late March. It was around Easter a couple years ago, but it was still early enough in the year that there was it was snowing in Reno our last day there, and it was snowing up in Donner Pass, which is right there outside of Reno on the way to California.
Did you stop at any In-N-Out burgers?
No, there was this really good restaurant that we ate at called Two Chicks, and they had like a little red and a little yellow chicken as their mascot. They had some really good breakfast food. We actually ate there twice while we were there because I have some family there and they suggested it. And we ate one day by ourselves, and then the last morning there we met up there with our family and ate there.
So the official Twitter account of Blockbuster in the U.S., which only has one store left, might I add, also has a customer care account.
I'm telling you, check out the last Blockbuster. It's a separate Twitter account, and it's just a parody account, and it is hilarious.
Oh, did they tweet out something about the Reddit thing?
I think so.
I saw a meme about it. I didn't know if it was real.
Let me see if I can find it. Hold on.
It's time to invest in Blockbuster.
I don't think they're publicly traded anymore.
Oh, what a missed opportunity!
You want to get the Redditors on board with something. That's bring back Blockbuster.
Oh, heck yeah! I should get a Blockbuster T-shirt, wear it on the podcast.
Yeah,
should do
Blockbuster
that,
is not
though.
publicly traded.
We should do that. We should drive to Bend, Oregon, and we should film out in front. We may have to do it on the sidewalk because they probably won't let us film. But I mean, I have a blue microphone thing now. I can bring my microphone down with me.
There you go.
Yeah, and we'll all wear Blockbuster shirts.
I'm looking
Sounds
up
good to
how
me.
much they might be right now.
I'm sure like T Republic or somebody has one.
Oh man, $20. I don't know.
Hey, it's the last Blockbuster.
Oh, I don't know. $20. That's a lot for a dead company. Oh, $18.99. Okay.
It's not dead yet. They still have one Blockbuster. I'm just saying.
Oh, here's one on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is the one I'm going to get, I think, probably.
Is it the long sleeve or is it short sleeve?
It's short sleeve. Here, hold on. I'm pulling it up. I got to switch browser windows so you can see it.
Oh, okay. I like that. It's classy.
Nice.
It's pretty good.
It's good
It's got
I
the
tried to
whole
explain to somebody.
1985.
I tried to explain to somebody at work what tracking was on VHS, and they just like way over their head. They did not comprehend. This is somebody that was born like post 2001. Like they weren't even alive for 9/11.
Oh no. What year is it? What's going on? I know what all of those things on the screen mean. You're telling me there are people who wouldn't have any frame of reference for any of that?
Yeah,
Oh,
I told you. I told
really
you when my
old.
kids found a VHS tape, right? And they asked me what it was for, and I'm like, "This is what we watched. This was a movie back in the day." And they asked me where the DVD went in it.
oh no. What an innocent question. They might open it up and touch the tape.
I was I was listening to another podcast one time, and he was one of them was talking with his kids. They were playing a game where it was like they had to identify like pretty much like Pictionary, like describe something. And for the he had a floppy disk, and he just said, "Oh, giant save button."
Oh.
There was somebody that tweeted out that they 3D printed a floppy disk, and somebody's like, "Oh, you 3D printed the save icon."
Oh man. Oh my
No.
goodness. Put that
I
on
mean,
a chain,
I'm
wear it
old
around
en-
your neck.
I'm old enough to remember like the big floppy disks while they were still floppy.
I only
yeah.
know of diskettes. I didn't know there was something that preceded diskette, which like floppy disks to me are the like, I don't know, 3 by 3 inch things.
No, there
But
were
apparently
like
they were like bigger ones.
yeah, they were bigger ones, and like there was a hole in the middle, like a CD has a hole, and that's where the magnetic information was read. 5.5 inch. That's how big they were. I'm trying to remember exactly how big they were. 5.5 inch floppies, and they were literally floppy plastic with like this little disc inside of it that was like flimsy tape material, like VHS tape material.
Oh, I probably thought these held like vinyl discs. I think that's what I thought these were. I thought the big outer plastic was like a case, and you took the like floppy part out and put it
No,
inside.
it stays inside the plastic, but they're called floppy
That's
because it's soft, malleable plastic, and they were floppy. That's why they were called floppy disks.
Oh.
That's a diskette.
You can buy them on. You can buy the diskettes so on.
Can you
Amazon.
bring up a picture of a 5.5 inch floppy?
I loved diskettes. I'm a card game player, so like they always reminded me of card game cards, so I would like shuffle them, and I'd want like a bunch, so I'd have like different data on each one. They were fun. You'd have those little like cases that open up from the top, and you'd pick your one. Yeah, see
There
this
you
thing.
go.
This is a 5.25 inch floppy, a 10-pack.
For $14.95
Ooh,
plus $5.95.
You can get it before
shipping.
Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
I had a guy one time ask me if this was when I was working at a retail store, of course, asked me if we carried any zip drive discs. And he's like, you probably don't know what I'm talking about. I'm like, no, I know exactly what you're talking about, man. Like, how old do you think I am? I remember zip drive discs. And no, that's a dead technology. Nobody carries those anymore. Like, you can obviously find them online, but zip drive discs were going to be like the future of technology, and it just never took off. Yeah, that's it right there. 100 megabytes you can fit on there. That was like massive back then.
Oh my god!
This was going to replace diskettes.
Now I have a 12 terabyte hard drive sitting right next to me.
You guys remember HD DVD when that competed with Blu-ray?
I don't think anybody thought that was a good idea. At least I'm sure among us that we all thought it was going to fail.
Everybody knew it was going to fail.
There was a guy that came in one day, and it was like the day after Universal and what was it, Toshiba, whoever owned HD DVD, I want to say it was Toshiba, announced that they were just giving up to Blu-ray. And this guy comes in and he asks if we have any HD DVDs, and he was super excited. He's like, I just got this from Pawn Shop for $20. And I'm like, oh man.
Oh, he doesn't know yet.
Like, you need to go get your $20 back.
Yeah. Better go pawn it back to them.
It was one of the Xbox 360 HD DVD disc drives when you had to get the external HD DVD disc drive for it.
That was a mistake.
Yeah.
Alrighty, we're about ready to start the podcast. Does anybody have any last final thoughts before we move on?
I might have to buy one of the HD DVD player external drives. That's my only thought. That's it.
All right. Are you ready?
Hold on, stand by.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Matt, get your script ready to go.
Gotta get that. Gotta wait for Notion to load. And give me the side menu, please. There we go. Okie dokie. Ready whenever. Only Xbox 360 accessory I don't have.
Wow.
All right. Rolling the intro.
Kind of driving me crazy.
Android and iPhone users welcome. BlackBerry and Windows Phone users, we will accept you. The podcast going beyond the headlines. This is the Gooply Cast. Now the host, Matthew Carter.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Gooply Cast. If you're listening to us as a podcast, consider coming to hang out with us live on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, or YouTube on Monday nights just after 8 p.m. Or if you'd like to listen to us on the go, catch us after our live show on your favorite Android or iOS podcasting apps as well as iHeartRadio.com. I'm your host, Matt Carter. With me today is Matt Evans, our resident expert. Hey, Matt.
Hey, how's it going?
Roy Slapinski, who's got that awesome Matt Black mic. Hey, Roy.
How's it going?
That background is fake. It's a green screen.
And him with his amazing wall of pop. Hey, Tim.
Hello.
I think
Today we will
last his wife's favorite or his wall back there.
technically Zoe's. And we also need a picture of a close-up picture of all of the ones that are on the wall, so I can refer to them individually whenever I enter. So what are we talking about today, guys? Something involving Apple, I'm guessing.
Privacy. What everybody wants to hear about, right?
Oh yeah, especially these days.
So we talked a little bit about privacy in one of the previous podcasts where Apple is going in and requiring all providers to update their software to notify you of ad tracking, and it is finally happening. Apple is rolling it out in iOS 14.5, which the beta came out today, which we'll get into some more. But they... What are you laughing at? They
say it with an English accent. Ichiban Death wants you to say privacy with an English accent. Some privacy.
Some privacy.
There you go. Anyway, so they're rolling it out in 14.5, and it will be live where you have to ask for permission to track them. We've talked a little bit about Facebook and how they are, fighting this to the death of it. There was the privacy conference. It was virtually held this year, but Tim Cook spoke at it, and Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook had all come out prior to that saying that Facebook is out or Apple is out to get them and everything, and is continuing their tax on them and stuff like that. But they're finally, it looks like, conforming to it, because there were some leaks today saying that they're going to start promoting it in the app, saying that you have to accept it if you want to get ads based on what you're relevant to you and whatnot. Kind of what I talked about previously, that they should start educating the people on why it's important for them to turn it on.
Some kind of incentive.
Yeah, But one of the things that I talked about, or one of the things that I read about with the Apple privacy, and if you haven't watched the privacy conference that they talked about, was over in the UK. I'll put a link into the description of it. But Tim Cook spends probably about, I would say, 5-10 minutes in his opening remarks. He wasn't there for the entire broadcast, but pretty much talks about how, how much privacy is important to everybody and how it's important to make sure that you still have control over it and have a choice in the matter of whether your content provider or whatever the app is tracking you. And that's kind of where, Apple's always gone, is privacy first whenever they build anything. And they said, once it gets out of control, it's time to give up for it, put some regulations on it. So
can I also mention that along with all of this privacy things that Apple's throwing out, one thing that I think is huge is that Google came out and they said that they were going to stop cross-app tracking on iOS devices, which is, in my opinion, huge for Google to do. Like, they're not even just going to put the little disclaimer in there, the little pop-up thing that says, or is it okay that Google tracks you across apps? They're just not going to do it, which is so anti-Google philosophy that it blows my mind that they don't even want to deal with the red tape.
And Google's been in the ad business for a lot longer than Facebook has. Google's been doing ads for years. I mean, that's basically what Google is based on and built on, is providing a free service and ads to support that. So when Gmail first came out, they launched ad tracking in it. I think it was a couple of years afterwards when it finally started showing up, but. Yeah, I mean, they're a free provider and they're based on ads, but I think that Google just doesn't want to get into the fight with Apple over it. It was interesting, though. I know we were talking, and they didn't promote switching to Android at all during it, which I think would be kind of hard because a lot of people go to Apple for privacy and for protection of their data and stuff like that. So. I think it would be hard to try and, squeeze people away from it. But it's kind of interesting that they didn't mention anything about that.
And I think that Apple deciding to promote this change in policy to transparent ad tracking, with all of the companies being scrutinized for their level of the level of depth they have into people's private lives, I think it really sets Apple up and above the rest. It really helps differentiate them from all the other big tech companies as a company that cares, or at least publicly cares, about people's privacy.
Well, and the one thing that they did too is they told everybody what it was all going to be about and that it's happening, and they're giving developers time to prepare for it. I also mentioned, I didn't mention this, but I also read that Facebook was considering a lawsuit against Apple for antitrust, and they obviously haven't filed it, and that was just a rumor. But, I just don't see that happening. I don't see them winning, but, they were possibly going to join in Epic's battle, maybe, perhaps. And I just honestly think that is the wrong choice to try and fight it. I think.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
So Facebook filing a lawsuit against Apple, what would they say? Hey, Apple, you're not being transparent about the information that you're probably not tracking and keeping from people?
Yeah, I feel like it's just they're trying to prevent people from creating free apps is what they're trying to do. They're trying to prevent people from creating it. They want Facebook has always been kind of outspoken that Apple wants the internet to be a charge or a fee, to use it, which isn't true. I mean, you have to educate people. You have to tell people, why you're doing it. And, I think pushing that out there's some people who aren't going to want to do it. They aren't going to get targeted ads. But we've been doing ads for a long time.
Yeah.
Ads aren't new. So if you lose a little revenue um, because you're not getting ads targeted, you can still promote ads. Providing ads is something that we've done for years, and Tim Cook says basically you should have a choice whether you're being tracked over multiple different apps and switching between apps. And I agree with him on that. I think that there should be the option. I haven't decided whether I will want to see targeted ads. I don't really pay attention to the ads. I kind of skip through them anyways. But, it's up to people, and it should be up to people. It should be their decision to do.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
By no means are they stopping Facebook or Google or any of these other companies from throwing ads at you. They're just giving the user the option to not have themselves tracked across their multiple apps and whatnot. Yeah, they're going to lose possible some ad clicks. I mean, I don't actually know people who actually click on ads to begin with, so I don't know. I would be interested to see them post numbers of how many ad engagements they get now and what that drops to after iOS 14.5 rolls out publicly, and see how big of a difference it is. And not that I think they will ever do it, but I would also love to see how much of that difference relates to cash flow for them. Because, I don't know how much they're getting per click from each company, but I can tell you right now that I will probably choose not to have myself tracked between apps, not because I'm afraid of Facebook collecting some sort of data from me, because, based on your likes and your comments and what emojis you choose when you like, they can garner quite a bit from you to begin with. But there are times where I am scrolling through insert blank social media platform here, and I have to be like, is that an ad? Oh no, that's an ad. Okay. If I don't have a targeted ad, I'm going to know it's an ad right there. I won't have to second guess whether something's an ad or something my friend shared off top of my head, or some tweet that might be relevant to me, and I won't accidentally click on an ad, because I know every time you click on an ad, you're just generating more targeted ads towards you, and I don't need to clutter my feed up more than it already is.
Have you guys used OfferUp or any of those other kinds of like deal or sell websites where they display whatever it is you're looking to buy in a grid or gallery style?
I mean, I've used OfferUp. It's been a while. I don't.
So like now, and I mean, they've probably been doing this forever, but I've recently been looking for like tables and desks and chairs and stuff. And I'll be looking through a gallery. I'll be scrolling. It's just like looking through your picture gallery. And it'll have a table and it'll have a desk or whatever. And it'll have one that really fits my style, and I'll be, oh, that's really interesting. I'm surprised to see that on OfferUp. And the first few times I would click on it, and I would be surprised because it would take me out to a website. I wouldn't notice that it was an ad. It definitely said ad, but I wasn't looking for it in the way that like OfferUp presents information to people. But it was like, exactly what I was looking for, and that thing that I clicked on followed me onto the web. It followed me onto other apps. It was like very aware that I was interested in this particular desk on like Instagram and Facebook and on other websites and stuff. So one of the things that I'm curious with is how many people this will enlighten to the fact that apps do track you from like app to app or from app to web browser, and how many people this will educate on that practice.
I guarantee there's a lot of people out there who don't even fully realize that they're being tracked across, and once this feature is out, they're going to start noticing, oh, I didn't realize. There's a lot of people that are going to realize, oh, Facebook's now tracking everything I'm doing across apps. I just think there's a lot of like.
I agree. I agree. There's people that probably don't know that. I mean, people are pretty obvious that some people know that they're being tracked because when they're talking about certain things, or they're they see it and stuff. It's not like your phone's listening to you like people think it is, but there are times when things pop up, in your ad feature and stuff like that, and I think that is relevant to some people, and some people again don't. So I think it'll be an education for people, and I think it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. I'm excited that Apple is giving people this choice, because I think it's important. Like Roy said, he's probably going to turn it off because he gets a lot of ads that he clicks on that he doesn't want to see, because it looks like it's something that he wants. But that's honestly what ads are trying to do. They're trying to get you to click on them so that you get interested. I get a lot of Kickstarter ones because I go through Kickstarter site every once in a while looking for new products and stuff like that. So I always get these things that pop up in my feed, and I'm like, oh, that's really cool. And then I click and it's an ad. I'm like, oh, I don't want to look at this.
I know. I used to be on Kickstarter all the time. I had to delete the app from my phone because it was just.
Oh my God, it's so addicting sometimes. Looking at everything that's on there, I'm like, and then like the first time I actually did anything on Kickstarter, me and my wife bought these chargers, and they got delayed, and then they got delayed, and then they got delayed again, and we ended up finally asking for our money back, and they gave us our money back, but. I don't even remember what it was. I think it was a Apple Watch charger with an iPhone charger or something like that. Yep. And it just took forever, and they just kept making excuses. And finally, we were like, "Give us our money back." So.
And I think if it was like a small time app or something that was asking to track me, depending on how I felt about it, it might be interesting, depending on the context, to allow. Like not a Facebook or not a Google or what have you, like none of these big tech giants to track me, but maybe show some support for the smaller guys where ads are more blended into whatever experience they have. I think I'd be more supportive of that, but definitely not the big corporations that are trying to track me everywhere and trying to harvest as much of my attention as possible.
You know what I would be okay with if there was some sort of tracking for it, if say like Netflix or Hulu or Crunchyroll or insert streaming service here wants to track me across apps, and they have some algorithm that sees my interest and they're like, hey, we think you might like this show. Like I might actually be okay with something like that. Like push some media content on me based on my likes. Learn me better so you can suggest better shows. So when I'm bored one night and I go to Netflix to see what I want to watch, it wouldn't be Netflix because I hardly ever use Netflix, but whatever. Crunchyroll, I want to go check out some new anime. Oh, you're going to suggest these animes because they have some subject matter that interests me. Cool, let's do it. That would be something I would be down for. I just don't want targeted ads.
I think there's a lot, like especially in the last couple of years, privacy has become a lot more bigger now. VPNs, and I want to say it was like 2015, nobody knew what a VPN was, and now we have NordVPN. We have all these VPN services out there that are constantly advertising everywhere, and everyone's like, even my parents have a VPN to use. Like everyone's got a VPN to connect to. It's the like big thing, and so more and more people are caring about their privacy.
If you don't have a VPN, you need to get one. You should
even if
you don't run it all the time. Even if you don't run it all the time, have it.
I don't run my VPN at home, but I do as soon as I go out. Like if I'm on a public Wi-Fi connection, I'm on a VPN. Matt, do you not have a VPN?
What? No.
Do you not have a VPN service?
No.
Oh my God.
I use a VPN now for when I play video games because, when like especially with games like CS:GO, they can, when you join in, if you do a custom server, they can see your IP information. So I don't trust those typically. So I'll throw a VPN on. Plus, I can choose what country I'm in. So then I can be like, I'm from Africa, and then they're like, "Why is there?"
You get targeted ads from Africa. Like, oh, come to this coffee shop down the street.
So my question for you guys, and I want your thoughts on it. If iOS 14.5 and their privacy tracking features, if this ends up being a big hit with the iOS users, do you ever think that Android would follow suit and offer some sort of comparable service to try to be competitive with iOS? Because I mean, once again, Android is developed by Google, and Google is all about their ads. But at the same time, if they felt they needed to be competitive, do you think it's a step that Android would ever take?
No.
Man.
Tough question, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I want to lean towards no, but I mean, if
So,
you know,
and here's my reasoning behind it. So Apple has introduced ad tracking in their web browser, I believe, a few years ago, but they released, like, the kind of the requirements, or what, it was kind of like an open source type thing, I believe. And Firefox adapted it, but Google never did in their Chrome browser. And I just don't see that happening. I don't see that happening in Android. Android is too open source, and it's too much a lost revenue for Google to do. I think they should do it, but I'm not holding my hopes that they're going to do it.
I don't disagree with you, but I want to say, like, iOS and obviously iPhones in particular own like 30 some odd percent of the overall market share of cell phones. They're one of the largest producers of cell phones as far as what's in people's pockets consistently, but Android has a larger market share spread across multiple phone manufacturers. If they started to lose market share as an operating system to iOS because of privacy tracking, I'm not 100% sure that Google wouldn't change their tune, or maybe, and I don't even know the intricacies of it, but maybe say Samsung throws something into their own Androids. I guess that wouldn't be possible because it would have to come through the App Store. I don't know if an individual manufacturer could introduce something like that, but needless to say,
Samsung could at least prevent all of their own personal apps from tracking stuff, not the Android side of things.
But I don't think that's going to be enough to compete with. I mean, and this is only if the privacy tracking on iOS was popular enough to pull people from the Android side of things. I don't think that Samsung being able to just stop their own apps from privacy tracking would be enough. I think that Google would have to rethink their strategy in app tracking in Android and at least offer something comparable. And that's, once again, if it ends up being popular enough to pull some market share. It's just, I was just interested to hear your guys' thoughts on whether or not you think that Google would ever entertain that possibility for Android.
I think that they have to entertain the possibility simply because Apple is doing it. I think that Android and just Google in general has done a lot of things to kind of convert the internet into a, like, use Google, get a product kind of experience. They integrated, like, shopping into the Google browsing experience. Now you can basically, like, order food from any of the like fast food delivery services without necessarily having the app. You can just kind of do it right from, like, Google search or the browser. So I think they have ways of providing value to companies outside of just advertising for them or collecting ad revenue. So at the very least, I feel like they're working around this kind of issue that Apple is bringing up for them. But, like, taking ads out of Android, I don't know.
Well, not necessarily taking the ads out, but giving you the ability
targeted ads out.
Yeah, giving you the ability to turn off, cross ad or cross app tracking for the purposes of ads and whatnot. I'm with Matt. I think that it would be a long shot, and I think that if Google ever entertained the idea of implementing that in Android, that it would have to be a big enough blow to the market share for them to ever entertain it, because, like Matt said, it's too integral to their business model. In this day and age, you have so many people who their sole access to the internet is 99% on their phone. I mean, I use my phone more than I use my computer for internet access. Therefore, if Google's not getting any money for ad clicks from me on my phone, they're hardly getting anything from me because I barely am using, the computer. And if they were to remove that from Android, or give the consumer the ability to remove it in Android, they lose out on a much larger pool of possible revenue. So I think that they would entertain the idea if there was a big enough blow to their market share, but it would have to be a big enough blow.
Yeah, I think I want to say eventually they possibly could, that they could come out and do that, but there's going to be a lot of people out there who do not believe that, and there's already a lot of people that do not like Google just based on their tracking and everything like that. There's like almost Google I/O always has protesters going on, people that don't want their data. No, even though like you can go and control all that, or like you can control your settings of what Google has on you, but I don't know if they would ever consider doing it that with. I think they would, just because to compete with Apple more, they could announce something like that. But
I can't see it happening. Like you're right at the point. Like they'd have to do it to all their apps, and they'd have to do the exact same thing, unless they came up with some other way of targeting ads. Then that might be working, or another way of revenue sharing for them. But that's a lot of ads, because you think about that. YouTube, they own YouTube. Like
you log into your Google phone with a Google account that is tracking you on every Google product you could use.
Yeah,
it seems like
and people don't go what Tim said. Like there's a lot of people who don't like Android, and for most reason for privacy. And the thing with privacy is that people go to iPhones or Android. They go to iPhone, not Android.
I do see.
You can de-Google your phone. Good comment. Just like you can jailbreak your iPhone.
I do think that once 14.5 gets into people's hands, that you could potentially see some people jumping ship from Android to iPhone just for the ability to stop being tracked as heavily. And I'll be interested to see how the market share changes over the next couple of years based on this feature.
I don't think we're going to see a lot of people jump ship, but I think over time maybe people will. But I don't think it's going to be I don't think it's going to be heavily at the beginning. I think that iPhone is going towards more of a privacy. iPhone is built on protecting your privacy.
Yeah.
And I think that this whole situation has really brought out a lot of news on it. And I think people are understanding more about what iPhone is all about and what Apple is all about. Because Apple doesn't run a giant social media company. They don't have, large social platforms, so they're built on privacy, and that's what they want to do first. They've been very outspoken about unlocking people's phones and end-to-end encryptions and trying to create backdoors into that. They've been very clear about that they're not going to create backdoors in there for anybody, government or non-government.
So there was another feature added with the iOS 14.5 beta, which also relates to privacy. It was the Apple Watch iPhone unlocking feature.
The best feature of 14.5. I would pick this over the privacy any day.
This is like the best thing. So Face ID, Touch ID. What do you use Touch ID for right now? Touch ID is really popular because you're wearing a face mask, when you're out in public, or you're, whenever you're wearing a face mask. Now you can unlock your iPhone with iOS 14.5 beta. If you're updated on both the betas on your iPhone and your Apple Watch, you can unlock it with a face mask on.
Yeah, if
your iPhone has to be in range of your watch. Your watch has to have a password on it. and it has to be connected to your wrist and unwatched. If that's the case, then you pull up your thing. It'll detect you have a face mask. It'll unlock your iPhone, and it'll send you a haptic feedback to your watch saying that your iPhone was unlocked. And then right on the screen is an option to immediately lock your iPhone.
So that kind of covers if someone happens to randomly be able to unlock your phone or something.
They would. I mean, they would still have
Put it
to
on the
pick up.
ground.
Yeah, like say if you're in a coffee shop and you left it on the table and you went to go, I don't know, get a refill of something, and somebody walked over and your watch was still enough range, they unlocked your phone, you could hit lock phone really quick. But I mean, I don't think that that's as big of an issue. I'm glad that they put a fail safe in there, but it works like magic. I was out about running errands today and I had my face mask on, and yeah, pulled my phone out, flicked up on the screen to unlock my phone, and my watch made a little click sound like an unlock of a locker lock, and my phone was open and unlocked, and this was magic because the last few months you've been dealing with pulling your phone out, you swipe up, it has to detect that you wear a mask, and then it's got to pull up the number pad. And granted, what was it, 13.5 or 13.4, whatever, one of the last iOS 13 patches that came out made that process slightly faster, but it was still super annoying because you didn't have Face ID, and that's all we have on the newer generation iPhones. I spent 10 minutes trying to explain to my mother-in-law how awesome this was before I remembered that she has an 8 Plus and she has Touch ID, and this isn't an issue for her.
But so the other thing too, and it's kind of changed. So I have 2-factor authentication for my work, everything, and they control what type of password that I used to have, and I used to have a numerical letter, everything. So I had to have a long password. It was like 7 characters long, letters and numbers and symbols. And like when you have to do that and you're wearing a face mask, it is so difficult. They finally relaxed it a little bit and allowed us to put in passwords for right now because a lot of us are working from home, and they changed some of the security features on it and stuff like that. But it was so I can use a numerical password now. But now this, like if it ever came back where I had to have a stronger password on my phone, I don't have to worry about it. It's so nice. And it works flawlessly. I have to say, for a beta, I mean, literally, like I had no problems with it. Go into the settings, you can enable it, and it's so amazing.
And this whole idea of your Apple Watch unlocking something isn't super new to Apple. They have it on MacBooks. If you have your Apple Watch on, you open up your MacBook, and if you go to select your account, you have your Apple Watch on, it'll unlock your account. And if you need to go in and make any administrative change settings, you can click your watch and it'll unlock to make the administrative settings. So using your Apple Watch unlock stuff isn't super new to Apple. I like the way they implement it with the iPhone. I can honestly say that after the pandemic's over and we're not wearing masks anymore, there's no need to have this feature, but it is a lifesaver for having it #first world problems, because I can get in my phone like 5 seconds faster now.
I think it might become more handy in the future, even without face mask. Like I could see it being an added layer of security, maybe. If you wear your watch normally and then somebody comes up, it could just be an added layer of security for it. Not detecting your face. I mean, obviously it's pretty clear. It's pretty safe that it doesn't detect your face, but if it ever got it wrong, could be.
This would have been a nice feature to have on Saturday when I was trying to film.
Oh yeah. And we all had to keep unlocking our phones. So we were filming for our iPhone 12 review, and Tim was doing all the filming, and our phones were kept locking after a certain amount of time. I finally turned mine off, but it was quite annoying to have to sit there and type in your password every time.
Well, now Matt and I both have it, so when we get together, if we have to shoot some more footage, you're good to go. We can test how far this range from our our Apple Watch really needs to be.
Well, and I still want to test. Like, does it still detect some part of your face? Like, because it obviously scans your whole face, so maybe it looks at your eyes and stuff like that, but it can't see everything else. Does it still, like, for example, if I had hand my phone to Matt, is Matt going to be able to unlock my phone if I'm right near him with his face?
I'm sure the answer
iOS
is that he could, but I would love it if Apple programmed it to be like, okay, we recognize that you have about quarter to 50% of your face that matches Face ID, and your Apple Watch is here. So yeah, we're pretty sure this is you. We'll go ahead and unlock, and like that's what I want my iPhone to be computing. But I have to believe that it's more along the lines of what the MacBook is, and it's the Apple Watch is within so much vicinity of it.
I do, but I think it could scan part of your eyes, and because you have to have your eyes open during it, and stuff like that. So it could detect part of your face, but I mean, I haven't got a failed one yet, so that's just kind of what I'm curious about.
This reminds me of the I don't remember which version of Android released. I think it was Lollipop. They added the ability that if you're connected to a Bluetooth device at all, you can bypass the lock screen. And
like the smart unlock or whatever.
Yeah, and I was always wondering if it was based on how far away the device was, because let's say I'm across the room, it will still work, or if it needs to be within. I think it was with Android Wear devices, I think it was like you have to be super close, but you can pick any Bluetooth device and it would treat it the same way. So
yeah, I did it to a pair of my headphones, and when I had my headphones on and connected, I think as long as they were just connected, my phone would be unlocked. So regardless of like if I was walking around my apartment or something like that, and like I was in the next room and through a couple walls or something like that, someone could probably have picked up my phone and it would just have been unlocked completely. So like you swipe up and you have access to all of my apps and stuff. I don't know. The feature kept turning off. I think when I got updates, so I just never bothered turning it back on at some point. But I don't know. It worked kind of like you were saying, where it's just an easy unlock feature.
I think the Pixel has some type of feature, like if you're holding your phone and you unlock it once, it'll stay unlocked until you put it down or take it out of your hand. I want to say that it's there. I want to say that they asked me about it if I wanted to enable that feature, but I can't remember. So that would be something similar too. Also released in iOS 14.5 is dual SIM support for 5G. So iPhones have had dual SIM for, I think, since iOS 13, maybe 13. Yeah. So you can use a physical SIM card, and you can have a eSIM card in your phone. It's really popular if you want to have two lines. However, when the iPhone 12 came out, it forced you to be on LTE with dual SIMs, and now in 14.5 you can be on 5G and dual SIM. So that was a big update for people who have two phone numbers and stuff like that, and want to have a line for business, want to have a line for personal, can now do it and stay on 5G. What else came in there? There's another. So you hey, and then your virtual assistant. I don't want to activate everybody's Siri, but you say hey, and then your assistant's name, and you can say call emergency services, and she will dial emergency services for you. Gives you a little countdown window too, so you have it counts down to 3, 2, 1 in case you accidentally do it. But that is a cool feature as well, I think.
Yeah. I think as virtual assistants become more and more popular and more used by the mainstream or just everybody in general, that having that kind of feature, in the back of your mind that you can always use is, I don't know, important as phones become more important to everyone.
Yeah. I mean, fall detection in the Apple Watch was really popular when it came out. That was a really big feature that everybody was talking about, especially because if you fall, and you're unconscious, you can't call 911. And the fact that it's automatically going to call. And I've even seen stories about people who have actually fallen, in the woods or whatnot. And, they become unconscious. They, their watch called, sent their location to emergency services, sent their location to their emergency contact. And,
Holy crap.
very well saved their life.
It's one of my favorite parts of WWDC is when they talk about the new Watch OS or the new Apple Watch, and they bring out some of those stories, and you really see how much this device that is more than just a watch has really impacted people's lives on a day-to-day basis from a health aspect. You see the people whose lives were saved because their watch detected an irregular heartbeat, or they fell and it called emergency services to them. And I think it really highlights that the Apple Watch can be more than just this extension of your phone, that there's a lot of health benefits to it, more than just a fitness tracker, more than just a way to get notifications on your wrist from your phone without taking it out of your pocket, that there really is more behind the scenes value to it, possibly kind of like a peace of mind sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, having that device on your wrist, Apple keeps putting basically everything you would kind of want to keep track of or to help you out on a day-to-day basis, from like the EKG monitor, the heart rate monitor, tracking your fitness, tracking your calories, just everything that the Apple Watch can do is pretty amazing. And I feel like to increase its adoption, the more that Apple can do to make it this kind of, put it on your wrist, but it can also, maybe save your life, maybe alert you in case things are going wrong for you in some way. I don't know, that becomes more important as they can move more off of the phone and more into the Apple Watch. So I don't know. I look forward to the future of the Apple Watch in particular. It seems like they keep pushing more and more awesome features into it.
They do. It's always exciting to see WWDC and what they come up with next. So, yeah. So, anyways, there you have it.
So there was one more thing I wanted to mention. Are you guys familiar? One of the other features added to this release of iOS 14 was something about the T-Mobile standalone 5G network support. Did you guys see anything on that?
I didn't see anything on that. What was it about?
So there's two types of 5G networks. It seems like there's standalone and not standalone. Not standalone means when you're connected to that kind of network, it's going to be a 4G tower that is capable of supplying 5G connection in some form. And then there's a standalone tower, which means it's just a pure 5G tower, so it's not like piggybacking off of any of the 4G tower functionality. So it seems like T-Mobile was able to get something called a standalone setting into iOS, so that now you can switch that on in the voice and data menu and just have
yeah, I do see that.
Pure 5G connection. So I wasn't aware that there was that kind of difference. So good news for T-Mobile users.
Yeah, no, I'll have to check that out. I didn't hear anything about that, so that's kind of interesting to see. But there's a whole webpage on it. I'll put it in the notes from T-Mobile, because I'm reading on their website. It says standalone features wire connectivity. It helps with 5G, bringing closer reach to, faster speeds, lower altitudes, shorter delays, and massive connectivity. So it sounds like you get better connectivity and faster speeds with it. Yeah, it'll be interesting to test it out. I haven't done any speed tests on it. I live on an island, so we don't get a lot of 5G area. But for example, I have a 4G LTE hotspot that goes off my internet because I only get like one bar at home. But I should turn off that and see if I do get 5G now, and if that changed anything for me.
Yeah, you'll have to let us know, and we'll have to do like 5G speed tests. Once you move a little bit closer to this area, we'll get everybody up here and do like Bellevue T-Mobile hotspot.
I did go. So me and my wife stayed in Bellevue over the weekend, and we went to the T-Mobile headquarters. We were just outside T-Mobile in Factoria there, and I ran a speed test. Let me pull up my results real quick. I can't remember what they were. Because I was thinking, if I'm going to get better speeds anywhere, it's going to be right there.
T-Mobile mobile headquarters.
So I got 239 megabytes on a download and 53.8 on an upload speed. So, I mean,
better than my
faster than I normally do, but it definitely wasn't as fast as I was hoping it was going to be. So, but yeah, I'm definitely want to go out and do some speed tests and see if I can get a gigabyte on a 5G signal around here.
Awesome.
Because that would be awesome.
In that case, anything else you guys wanted to mention?
I don't think so. It was good seeing you guys all in person this weekend. I'm excited
God, yeah.
for our reviews to come out.
Yeah, iPhone 12 Pro and iPhone 12 Pro Max video reviews. Everybody look forward to seeing those by Matt and Roy. I know they're working on them right now.
And I honestly enjoyed Tetris.
So Matt tried my Oculus Quest 2, and he was the first person to try a game called Tetris Effect in VR, which I haven't gotten a chance to play yet, but my friend bought it for me after having played it a little bit with his friend, and he was like, it was one of the most interesting VR experiences he's ever had, just because it's just it's Tetris in a 360 VR environment, and you're just playing Tetris.
I have never been so good at Tetris. You have to understand, this was the first time I played Tetris and in a long time, and I think I died once at like 12 minutes or something, and then it restarted, and I think I went to like 20 minutes. I was playing for like 20, 21 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
And like it was so calm. It was so collective. The music that was playing was just calming. And I was just like, I'll move this one here. I'll move this one here. It took me a little while. I got into some binds and everything and stuff like that. I got almost to the point where I thought I was going to die. And then bam, I got the long piece. I went down,
Oh, yeah.
boom. Like I cleared half the row. Like definitely awesome.
So hopefully by this time next week, Matt will have an Oculus Quest 2 or one.
I've been
on the
looking
way.
for one. I've been trying to find one. I want to go buy it and pick it up though.
I will buy you Tetris Effect if you get one.
Okay, sounds good. That's what, $30 I don't have to spend on after I get it.
Exactly, a nominal savings for an otherwise maybe kind of expensive purchase.
All right, I'll see if my wife will let me.
Awesome. In that case, thank you all for joining us on this episode of the Gooply Cast. You'll be able to find our replays on YouTube and the podcast version of our episodes on all of your favorite podcasting apps, including iHeartRadio. Please follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook for updates on the podcast and to be notified of our video reviews. I've been your host, Matt Carter. For Matt, Roy, and Tim, thank you for watching and listening, and we'll catch you next time on the Gooply Cast.